Hello, this is Luna Leon on the Treats Entertainment Podcast. And our show today is about how Jimmy Kimmel's recent clash with government officials reveals both the surprising power and frightening vulnerabilities of celebrity voices in our modern media landscape. So Jimmy Kimmel is back on the air, and honestly, watching this whole thing unfold has been like witnessing a real-time experiment in how much power celebrities have when the government tries to silence them. And spoiler alert, it's complicated. Okay, let me back up because this story is wild. Kimmel got temporarily suspended from ABC after making some comments about MAGA supporters that sparked massive conservative outrage. Then FCC Chair Brendan Carr threatened ABC on a podcast, which, can we talk about how unhinged it is that government officials are now making veiled threats on podcasts like they're influencers? Major affiliate groups like Nexstar and Sinclair refused to air his show, cutting him off from about a quarter of ABC stations. But here's where it gets interesting. Celebrities across the political spectrum, including people Kimmel has roasted before, rallied behind him. Even Ted Cruz defended him, which led to Kimmel saying something I never thought I'd hear. I don't think I've ever said this before, but Ted Cruz is right. Imagine being so shocked by government overreach that you're agreeing with Ted Cruz. That's peak modern politics energy right there. When Kimmel returned, he didn't ease back with safe jokes. He came out swinging, spending his entire monologue on free speech instead of comedy. He said, "A government threat to silence a comedian the president doesn't like is anti-American." And honestly, regardless of your politics, that's pretty hard to argue with. The man turned his return into a civics lesson, which is both admirable and kind of heartbreaking that we need comedians to remind us about basic constitutional principles. More after our break.
My name is Tom Sachs. I'm an artist in New York City. For nearly 2 decades, I have been collaborating with Nike.
Nike running is for runners. Nike basketball is for basketball. Nike craft is for everyone else.
But here's what's really keeping me up at night. And trust me, I already have enough thoughts before bed. This whole situation exposes how vulnerable our media landscape is. We're not living in the era of Johnny Carson drawing massive audiences anymore. This fragmentation made it easier for affiliates to drop Kimmel without huge viewer backlash. Because let's be real, most people under 30 aren't watching broadcast TV anyway. But his digital presence and celebrity social media mobilization created pressure that traditional media gatekeepers couldn't ignore. What really gets me is how this reveals problems with media consolidation. When a few massive conglomerates control most of our information sources, it becomes way easier for political pressure to work. Now you just need to pressure a handful of executives and boom, you can silence someone across huge swaths of the country. I keep thinking about how Carr made his threat on a podcast, then tried to walk it back. Kimmel nailed this when he said, "If you want to hear a mob boss make a threat like that, you have to hide a microphone." But this guy did it on a podcast. The casual nature of government officials threatening media companies is almost more disturbing than the threat itself. Of course, Disney and ABC initially caved to pressure. But the fact that they eventually reversed course shows that public pressure can still work, which gives me hope. This has me wondering, is this the new normal for entertainment? Are we going to see more creators having to choose between speaking their minds and keeping their platforms? Because humor has always been how we process difficult truths and challenge authority. When that gets threatened, we're all in trouble. The silver lining is seeing how many people recognize this wasn't about partisan politics. It was about whether the government can pressure companies to silence voices they don't like. But millions still can't watch Kimmel on traditional TV because those affiliate boycotts are ongoing. So while this feels like a victory, it's also a reminder of how easy it is to limit access to information in our current system. Thank you for listening to Treats with me, Luna Leon. If you are enjoying our podcast, please show us your support by tapping the follow button and rating it 5 stars. That's a wrap.
Grep News. Thomas.